Most recently, Alvaro Bedoya's confirmation. um, he's the third and tie-breaking vote at the Federal Trade Commission's for various initiatives will soon roar to, the various initiatives will soon start roaring to life. Now, among Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, who's a Democrat from New York's, from New York, his motivations for bringing a vote on Bedoya's nomination is re-energizing a pending FTC investigation into price gouging by the oil companies. Now, what the Commission's new majority needs to recognize, however, is that price gouging is not the issue at the heart of the high gas prices. Now, now Biden doesn't have control over gas prices, so you should take a look at the OPEC and people like that who are to blame. But some blame will fall on Biden because his administration's new regulatory disincentive to oil production and the refining deserve some blame, as does its failure to call for the waiver of the long-standing anti-competitive Jones Act. Now, the Jones Act eliminates all foreign oil competition in the domestic waterborne shipping market, allowing U.S. shipping companies to legally monopolize the shipping industry without any threat of a competitive recourse. It was passed in the Jones Act was passed in 1920. It requires any cargo shipped by water between two domestic ports to be ferried by ships that are U.S. built, owned, operated, flagged, and crewed. Now, with these restrictions in place, the price of shipping gas to many parts of this country is significantly higher than it should be, leading many states in the Northeast and territories like Puerto Rico to get their oil from abroad. Now, the price of shipping a barrel of oil from the Gulf Coast to the East Coast of Canada is around $2 per gallon. It costs about the same amount to ship that barrel to Europe. However, it costs over triple the amount, $6 to ship a barrel of oil to the northeastern part of the United States. Even though the distance to Canada and Europe is greater, the Jones Act requirements jack up the price significantly, leading to higher prices at the gas pump. Um, Now, the ferrying oil directly between Alaska and California on a Jones Act ship can cost up to 6 times as much as the same journey on a foreign flag ship, but the latter is illegal. Additionally, Additionally, shipping oil between Alaska's oil-rich North Slope and the Gulf Coast is over 3 times as expensive as shipping oil between the North Slope and the Virgin Islands, even though the trip to the Gulf takes half as long. Um, Now, in other cases, it's impossible for certain consumers to get their gas from the United States. Now, there currently there's no current there currently exists no Jones Act compliant ships available to that are basically they're not able to ferry the natural gas by water. This means that places like Puerto Rico are required to purchase the foreign natural gas regardless of the abundance of the U.S. produced natural gas on the mainland. Now, this is becoming a pattern. Gas stations up and down the East Coast are left empty or with rapidly inflated gas prices from last year after the shutdown of the Colonial Pipeline. Now, um, in response, the European ships were provisionally charted, and while the administration claimed an all hands on deck approach to solving the short lived crisis, oil from Europe was more readily available and less expensive than American oil because of the Jones Act restrictions. While the Jones Act's original purpose was to create a robust, thriving maritime industry, the 100 years since it has been passed have been proven otherwise. The Jones Act ships are significantly more expensive, less innovative, and less efficient. The cost of building a Jones Act ship is 4 times that of a comparable ship from Norway, um, Korea, or China. Now, thanks to the Jones Act monopolies in the domestic manufacturing and shipping industry, there is little incentive to reduce costs or improve technological standards. Now, this leads to a disconnect in Biden's administration and FTC policy. In a July 2021 executive order, um, President Biden tasked the federal government with increasing competition in the U.S. economy. The FTC chair, Lena Khan, has also vowed to take on an illegal the illegal conduct leading to higher gas prices. The problem is that monopolization is a perfectly legal byproduct of the Jones Act, and no mention is made of the federal government's own role in a distorted energy market. Now, the administration and FTC's blind spot for competition, distorting federal regulations, is causing serious harm to the nation's pocketbook. Blaming and investigating the oil companies for higher gas price thus is a political red herring. Calling for suspension of the gas tax, proposals to send money directly to consumers, and releasing oil from the strategic reserves is just only temporary measures to ease that pain. As long as supply chains for oil remain distorted, American consumers will perpetually face a weak supply and higher gas prices at the pump. The current high prices will pass, but the underlying pressures on the economy will probably remain, and the likelihood of an economic shock sending prices skyrocketing again is high. At the very least, the waiving the Jones Act requirement for oil and gas products will bring more competition to shipping markets, and that will lower prices for the consumers. Now, better yet, doing away with bad policy in its entirety will unlock and make permanent cost reducing supply chain efficiencies, just as President Biden has said that he wants to do. So if you like the video, you can give the video a like and subscribe to my channel, RBW King. And also make sure to hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified when a new video comes out. And if you want to support my work even further, you can donate to my Patreon link, which you can find in the About section of my YouTube channel. And for just a little as a few bucks a month, your donation to the channel can help go a long way. And thanks for listening.